Welcome to another episode of The Crimson Fly, where you can see the process of making the animated comic. My name is Colin SkipperWing Bird. If you'd like a version of this video without the audio commentary, you can check out the links in the description below, or in the cards, or in the annotations when they appear on screen at the end of the video. Before we get started, today's music is Spanish Winter by The Passion Hi-Fi. You can find a link to download it in the description below. In terms of plot, these kinds of events are always my favorite. Give a character a goal, make it go wrong, and then see what the characters do in response. In this week's strip, all three of our characters have goals that were shattered by the punchline of last week's strip. Which was the little sibling falling into the opening. The little sibling wanted to spy on the secret meeting, whereas Joe and the go-through wanted to keep said meeting, well, a secret. And thus, now we get to see what kind of people our characters really are when placed in a situation that they can't control. So, what do? Well, neither Joe nor the younger sibling have any idea, but the go-through does, having had experience in this sort of thing. I can't imagine this will bode well for the younger sibling character, though. In terms of technique, there's not really much that you haven't seen before. I'm starting to get better at integrating my thumbnails into my workflow, though admittedly I wish it was more templated, the way my Flash file is, but for me, that would break the feel of using them. I want them to feel as haphazard and lackadaisical as possible, so I don't worry about them as much as I would a finished illustration. Once I have something on paper, or rather a file to edit, I can approach it as a problem to be solved, which is a lot easier in my mind. That's sort of how my particular creativity works. Solving a problem and knowing how to approach it once I know what the parameters and objectives are. It's why I don't spam as many creative ideas as a lot of my more prolific contemporaries do. It's harder for me to generate spontaneous ideas unless it's in response to a question. I guess I need to ask or solicit more questions then. Leave them in the comments. Another thing that's interesting to me is the breakup of the space between panels 2 and 5 into 2 panels, rather than just one panel, wherein Joe interrupts the younger sibling with his own bubble. What's cool about it is that this panel is also interrupted in the interactive version, rather than having the reader click through the sequence. And for the interactive version, I think that interrupting the pacing is important for the narrative being told, and in terms of physical space, that break just gets the idea across just as well. Not really an important note, but a fun little tidbit anyway. Miscellaneous notes. Well, if I were a reader, it would be very strange to me how haphazardly Joe is handling that gun, especially if I were a reader who was proficient with guns, which admittedly I am not. I wonder if that's going to be important later.